I'm G. How's it going, everyone? Co-founder here at Ylopo and president. I am in charge of product here at Ylopo and all of our great marketing products. And we've got an awesome new one. Not new, I'd say we've been working on this since, I don't know, February, March.
Mhm.
As soon as Google came out with its product line. Really excited to share the results on this test because it's one that we had to double check the data to make sure it's actually real. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit. That's me. We've been at this for 10 years. Barry, yeah, I think you and I have been at this for like eight
Eight.
and a half of those years, right? So you want to intro yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Barry Jenkins. I'm the head realtor in residence at Ylopo. So I help lead an amazing team of realtors in residence, and we get to be the subject matter expert and voice of the customer. I wrote a best-selling book on lead conversion called Too Nice for Sales that's remained a bestseller for 3 years. And I own a couple of teams as well, one with 90 agents, another with five. So very much in the trenches with you guys, really passionate about getting lead sources that convert really well and scale really well. And that's actually why I'm really excited about this topic today.
Awesome. Well, Jamie, you're on. You got to introduce yourself.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm the sales manager here at Ylopo. I've been working with top teams and brokerages and single agents for the past 5 years now, almost, which is crazy, helping them scale their businesses with best practices, new and unique ways to grow their business and nurture their database. So,
Awesome, awesome. Yep, Jamie's going to be here in chat answering questions for you all. If you have any questions, we'll keep it informal. You can put it in comments if you want to. I mean, we have a Q&A feature that makes sure that Barry and I don't miss any questions, but feel free to ask in chat as well. So for those of you not familiar with Ylopo, we're a marketing technology platform, and that means that we help you generate, nurture, and communicate with all of your leads. And our goal ultimately for our entire business, back since 2016, when we met with Tom Ferry, the lesson that he taught us was agents want appointment, not leads, right? And, we've been throughout our history trying to figure out how do we turn leads into appointments for agents, right? And that journey started with generating leads, with creating activities for agents, telling them when they should talk to leads, realizing, you're getting too many alerts to the point where we were saying, hey, let's stand up a call center and just call all these leads and give you live transfers, right? And that evolved into our AI suite where we do that fully baked with AI to drive live transfers to you, right? So the DNA of our company has always been, let's not give you leads, let's give you live transfers and appointments, right? And for the better part of really, this last 10 years, there have been very few products where live transfers actually occur from the advertising. It's always been, post lead gets generated. What can we do from a calling, texting perspective to get this person live transferred over, right? And in 2021, I believe, the first product came out where we could actually target someone on Google and we can get them to make a phone call inbound to a real estate agent, right? And turn them into a live transfer. And that product was called Google Local Services Ads, right? And most of you probably heard of that. That's an ad at the very top of Google that shows a profile of an agent. The consumer clicks that profile, they call you, and we actually field that with our call center on our side, scrub out all the bad leads, and only give you the good live transfers, right? And that became a pillar of product for Ylopo, where we said, hey, if you want to generate a small cohort, because obviously there's limited number of people who do that, of really high quality live transfer leads, you've got to do Google Local Services, right? And from there on up the chain, we have all of these other products that generate leads that we work for you and drive to our live transfers. And we're generating 2 to 3 millions of these leads a year, right? Well, I'm excited to tell you guys that in 2025, Google has released a new product that also, just like Google Local Services Ads, drives live transfers to you from inbound, meaning the consumer is calling you. We're not calling them, you're not calling them, the consumer is calling you, right? And this product, in my opinion, is even more exciting than Google Local Services ads because it is more scalable. The problem with Google Local Services ads for anyone who's used it is that you're going to get a call or two a month, right? Sometimes you're going to go 3 months without a phone call. It's very hit or miss in that way because it's very competitive and there's not a lot of people searching for those keywords, right? So we call this new product Google Live Transfers, and we're going to walk you through the evolution of how that works. We're going to try to keep this webinar tight, right? Like 30, 35 minutes, so we know all of you guys are busy. Um, so the most valuable keyword in Google, if I look at the history of the 50 million leads I've generated over the last, 15 years of real estate marketing experience, right? The most valuable keyword is realtor near me, right? Because this is a person in the shopping phase of home sale. They're more downstream. They're unattached consumer, right? Because if they already had a realtor, they wouldn't be looking for a realtor near me. And 50% of them, based on our historical data, are sellers and buyers, right? Because they need to sell in order to buy. So you're getting a listing opportunity and a buy opportunity. And in 21, as I mentioned, Google realized how important these keywords were, right? It used to be that you were just running search ads, at the top of Google to get that type of traffic. And in 21, with Google Local Service Ads, they put realtors' faces at the very top of this with a get phone number call button, right? And they allowed agents to create a profile and to bid to be at the very top of this placement, right? The challenge with this placement is you can only have 2 or 3 agents at the very top any given time. At one point in Los Angeles, I haven't checked, but I believe there was something like 800 agents competing for 3 spots of inventory on the top of Google for Agent Near Me, right? And so it was awesome product for about 6 months, and then it got flooded by agents, right? So that's kind of the history lesson, what's going on here, right? And what Google kept doing was they said, wow, this inventory is so valuable. I'm going to keep pushing our search ads to the bottom of the page, and then organic ads even below that, right? And so, more and more of this inventory was getting taken up, right? So see what Google is doing now on mobile in 2025. So you have the search results at the very top, 3 placements for Google LSA, right? And then right under there, instead of sponsor results, they're showing you Google Maps. All of these listings are Google Maps listings of brokerages, right? And when you click on the Google map, oh, I played it. When you click on the Google map, it goes to your Google My Business profile with the call to action being a phone number, right? And so Google has opened up the advertising spots. And let me go back and let me just freeze frame for you on something, right? So these are Google LSA ads, right? This is the Google Maps. Notice right here, these ads, these are sponsor results. These are not organically ranking listings. These are people who pay to be in this Google Maps result, right? And so
Gee,
Google is now running these ads directly into Google Maps. Sorry, go ahead, Barry.
yeah, I was just going to say that, one of the ways that a lead is interested is based on the questions that they have, right? So if they're looking for homes for sale in a city, for example, we know they know where they want to live, and there's a degree of clarity there. If somebody actually is aware that they need to speak with an agent, that means they're very aware of what their needs are, right? And what's so fascinating about this product is Google is using their high degree of trust with their Google Maps product. Like literally, we were just making a joke at the beginning of this session about me looking up places to go and when I travel, how do I find it? My source of truth is Google reviews. It's Google Maps. Like I know if I go into a city and I look that 1,500 people liked the eggs, I'm going to order the eggs, right? And so Google is leveraging that on our behalf. And the fact that it's new inventory, this is why we work with the people that are doing, like, that's why I've worked with Ylopo so long, because they're always doing the next big thing, the next new thing. So it's providing us with great leads. Sorry, G, I got inspired.
Love it. Yeah, that's great color. So I'm going to talk you through the Google product in a second, right? But I just want to flash this because, at the end of the day, I can say all I want to say. It's about conversions, right? And what's great about Ylopo is we have all of your underlying conversion data down to transaction management for a lot of our clients, right? And so we're looking at how a lead progresses through our system to understand what the quality of those leads look like, right? And the three categories of leads we primarily track is Google homes for sale keywords, right? So these are people who are looking for homes for sale. Google LSA, which is the top spot that you guys saw, right? And this newest category, which is Google Maps, right? And on our data, what we're seeing is that in a 5-month analysis, so generating the lead last 5 months, right? For Google sale for homes for sale leads, we're seeing a 17% qualified rate. And qualified means that the agent legitimately talked to this lead and they're interested in real estate, right? Under 6 months of that of 100 leads, 5% were looking in under 6 months, and that after 5 months, 0.3% of them become pending and sold. Right now, this makes sense for Google typical leads. Right, these are leads that are looking in 9 to 12 months. They're long-term nurture leads, and that's reflected in their cost per lead. It's only about $18. Right, Google LSA, similar qualification rate. A lot more of them are looking under 6 months. And you can see pending sold rate, 2%. Pretty darn good, right? And their average cost per lead is $60. Google Maps, and I'll talk about what valid leads means in a second, 30% qualification rate, 14% under 6 months. And after just 5 months, almost a 5% pending and close rate, right?
Banana.
This is the biggest number we've seen outside of the portals, right? For what conversion looks like, right? Now, the difference is cost per lead, $150, right? So these are expensive leads because these are people who are inbound phone calling you, interested in talking about real estate, that will transact much quicker than your typical lead. But as a result of that, it is substantially more expensive, right? But I'll show you how the math pencils out in a little bit. So ads on Google Maps, if you go on Google Maps right now and type in, try yourself, agent Los Angeles, agent Miami, whatever it is, the top couple of results are all going to be sponsored results, right? And these are people who are paying to be at the very top of Google. And chances are they're going to be a Ylopo client because we're pioneering this product as we speak, right? And the first thing we want you to know is, people actually look at your Google My Business page, right? And so when you click this button, people who have optimized their page, put their listings in it, has a ton of reviews, you're obviously going to build a lot of trust and credibility, right? If you go to someone else's page and it's like a Google Street View with one review, no product details, chances are you're not going to get a lot of calls, right? So the first thing we're going to do for you is we're going to optimize your Google My Business profile, right? We're going to make sure that it looks really good. It has all your listings in it. It has all your reviews, so on and so forth, right? And so part one, just like we do for Barry, we build out a really sophisticated, beautiful looking GMB page, right? The second thing we do, in addition to obviously placing these ads and making sure they're optimized, is we field all of the phone calls on these leads, right? So when a consumer goes to the map profile, they click on your Google Maps and they call you, they don't go to you directly, right? They will go into our Ylopo call center. We're going to find out if they're legitimately interested in talking to you about real estate, right? And then we are only going to transfer the leads over that want to talk to you about real estate, right? So why do we do this? The first is pickup rate, right? When we send these leads directly to agents, we see a pickup rate of under 50%. I get it. You guys are on the go, call comes in, you don't know who it's from. You might or might not pick up, right? Well, not only is it wasting money to only pick up 50% of your leads, but Google's algorithm is going to rank you lower, right? Because they really care about service. They want these leads to be handled very quickly. And so the higher your pickup rate, the better, right? The second reason is because of how much junk there is that comes in through these calls, right? So this is just a view in June. So of like one small portion of a day of how many calls are coming in, right? And if you look at this here, my team analyzes everything, right? We're saying, when is a call transfer successful? When is a call transfer unsuccessful? And then all of the calls that are spam, non-English speaker, renter, hunt up, whatever is the case here, right? And you can see here the ratio of successful transfers versus spam calls and other dispositions is like 20%, right? Now imagine you're fielding these calls yourself. You're only picking up 50%, first off, but of the 50% you pick up, only 1 of 5 of them are interested in talking about real estate. You're going to drop this channel, right? And so our service not only places the ads, optimizes ads, optimizes your Google My Business, drives phone calls to you, we filter out the junk, right? And that's a really important part to Google Maps. If you can run Google Maps ads yourself, and I bet you're going to come away extremely frustrated because of how much spam there is in this process, right? You got to dig for gold.
Well, and so not only is there a lot of spam, not only are we only answering on average half of the calls because we're busy, but if the calls we're answering, let's be generous. Let's say out of 10 calls, we answered 5 times, 2.5 were or 3 were spam, and 1 or 2 were actual clients. Well, by the time we get through the spam calls, our energy, like, we're not going to be able to bring our A game in the same way to the one that's actually a real client. The fact that Google generating great leads, that's awesome. But really, the secret sauce is that we have a specific process of speaking with this consumer to make sure it's someone that my team wants to talk to right now about real estate. What that means is the second my agents see that Ylopo call come in, they know this is a hot lead. This is someone that wants to talk to me about real estate. So their answer rate goes up, their urgency goes up, and it's easier to train around because now my team knows it's like the same scenario every time. It's a human that wants to talk to you about real estate. And for our team, all roads lead to a face-to-face appointment with these clients. If they're local, buyer or seller, we sell the vision and the need to meet face-to-face. That accelerates the funnel too. So this is so valuable. And I know, like, for those of you watching, you're like, wait a second, so we're not getting all the leads. No, you don't want all the spam calls. You only want the ones that are ready to go.
Yeah, 100%. We filter out the spam. They don't hit your CRM. We're only live transferring these people who are looking to sell, questions about the property deed, whatever is the case, first-time home buyer, etc. Right? So our Google Live Transfer product is basically a combination of Google Local Services ads and what we call Google My Business, Google Maps ads, right? They are all inbound calls. We'll manage both channels for you, and we're going to spend the budget to get you the appropriate number of calls, right? So that's the concept of buying Google Live Transfer. Consumer clicks on an ad, they go to your profile, they click call you, and then we field the calls, and then we drive only the valid ones over to you, right? So, like I said, 75% of the calls are non-relevant calls, right? So here's the math. What we're seeing, $150 cost per lead, 30% qualified, 14% by next month's, 4.8% pending at close, right? And what's interesting is we actually put all of the conversations that happens because we record every call, right? All the way through the end. And we put it into our AI and we looked at what percentage of these calls were legitimately good conversations about someone wanting to buy and sell. 50% of the calls we transferred over were high quality buyer or seller conversations, right? And that's not even captured in basically what agents are doing from staging perspective on their CRM, right? That's insane. So we want to do a simple ROI analysis for you, right? So you understand, what this means, right? So if you generated leads at $150 cost per lead, you got 20 leads a month, that would be, and obviously, starting point for clients on this product is $600, right? You don't have to spend $3,000, but I'm just making the math easy for you. We have a $350 platform fee for Google Live Transfers. And if you close at 4.8% on 20 deals, you get one deal, right? Average ECI of $425,000 is $10,000 in commission, right? So it is a 300% ROI on your investment in under 5 months, right? That you're getting from this product on average with Google Live Transfers. right? And obviously our hope is after 5 months you're still closing these guys, right? We don't want you to stop. That's the whole point of the Ylopo Nurture Suite. We're messaging to them, we're working your database, et cetera, et cetera. But just in a 5 month period, you get a 300% payback on your investment, right? I've never seen that before with a product, and we have seen that with Google LSA, but we haven't seen a product that scales at this level and creates the results, right? That's why we're so excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, and I also, going back to the narrative you shared about LSA, I was literally because I remember where I was when you called me. You were like, "Hey Barry, there's this new product called local service ads. We need you to upload your insurance information and do this stuff. Can you do it right now?" And I like literally put my kid down in my home, so it's not like I was neglecting him, and started uploading the documents immediately. Well, within like a week, I was live, and for 6 months, for real, it was the best lead source I had ever experienced because nobody else in my market had LSA yet. I was the first to market. But then within just a few months later, that's 6 to 9 months, the market became flooded. And now it's like just kind of I wouldn't say a waste, but in my market, it's just so flooded with agents, it's hard to scale it. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm planning for another 6 to 12 months of just a fantastic lead source out of this before it becomes flooded. And again, I hope I'm wrong, but I wanted to act quick with this in my business because I remember that journey with LSA, and I want to stay ahead of the pack here.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I would say, anytime you have a new Google product and not a lot of people are doing this, right, you're going to have an advantage. I think that there is a longer sustainable advantage to this product for two reasons. The first is that there's no platform I know of in the industry that can run these ads and have the AI call center capabilities that we have,
Oh,
right?
right.
And so, this is not something the average agent is going to be successful with. I just haven't seen it, right? The
Right.
second is you can bet that Google has learned the lesson that inbound calls are more valuable than lead registrations, right? And we are already in testing with several other additional Google products and mechanisms to generate more inbound calls for you, right? And I think that over time, Google is just migrating toward generating you live transfers as much as possible, right? And so we're infusing this idea of live transfers really into everything we're doing here at Ylopo, right?
Yeah.
And it's a combination of advertising and call center capabilities combined together, right? So that's really the future of where we're going. And I think as Barry said, for now, sooner you can jump on this the better because right now it's a gold mine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and whenever we're looking at scaling our business, we want to be able to offload anything that is a distraction, right? And to be able to offload the spam calls to Ylopo to convert the ones and get rid of the ones that we don't want, just that alone, like to be honest with you, I don't even know like how we're doing that. Because when you think about like the media, we're running ads, you know what I mean? Like the fact that we're also managing the inbound calls and running the ads and providing the technology, it's a lot of value. And I for some reason it just hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I think it's great value, obviously, right? Which is why we're so hyped up on this product, but it's years of technology that we've strung together to make it as efficient as we possibly can. So this is like the shortest webinar that Barry and I will ever do. If you guys
Huh?
have ever been on a Whitehole webinar, it usually goes 90 minutes. But this product is so simple, right, to
Yeah,
explain.
yeah,
The numbers back it up,
yeah.
right? And so, I'd say at this point, I was not organized enough to get you a QR code for this. And uh, oh, okay. Got feedback from someone about my speaking style. And I would say go on ylopo.com and just fill out a request for demo, and we'll certainly talk to you about this product. And we can also directly reach out to everyone that's attending as well. And we'll also send you guys a message and see if you're interested in getting a demo.
Yeah, and we are getting a lot of questions with regards to CPL, how to manage it. So can they get an estimated cost per lead before they sign up?
Yes, we will tell you when in the setup process or in the sales process what your estimated cost per lead is.
I just answered the question. There's not a perfect science yet to this because it is still a newer product, but once we have the demo, our marketing team will go and do a market analysis for you and at least try to get you a range so you have an idea.
Yeah. And then, with regards to it being comparable to a Zillow Flex lead, I personally, I'll just say that, and G, if you want to add color here too, in my experience, a Flex lead is more like a showing request. Like they want to go see the home tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And I would say the Google lead is more sellers than the average Flex lead, but then also it's someone that knows they need a real estate agent. So they haven't picked out a house necessarily yet, but they know they need an agent. And so it's a more of a somebody that is prepared to go down the path of looking at homes, but is aware of the need of real estate agents just a little bit more. I don't know if I'm giving that summary, G, in a way that scratches your itch, but for me, it's just a little. Zillow Flex is transactional. This is still has a consultant vibe to it because they're looking for the professional to give guidance. I would argue it's so much cheaper than a Flex lead that like the conversation, the consultant energy is it's well worth that extra conversation personally. But that's just how I run my business.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big difference is a Zillow lead is asking about a specific property, right?
Yeah.
This is a lead that is more of a general buy or sell inquiry. And so, in that sense, you're handling it differently, but the intent is very similar.
Sure. No, go ahead, Jake.
Sorry, there was another question about if somebody has over 10,000 buyer leads, can we nurture the leads? The the short answer is yes. The longer answer is if they are what we call a whitelisted. In other words, they've opted into communication. Then if you wanted to use even, I know that we're not talking about AI squared, but we have AI voice and AI text that can help get those people back into your conversation flow if they've opted into communication. Otherwise, we can at least get them on email nurture campaigns to try to drive them to the IDX site, which we build and work through from there.
Yeah, I think what this product does is it decreases the burden, not AI squared, but going back to the Google, this entire webinar, I think it really accelerates the nurture time. You're not going to have as much of a nurture downtime as you would a lead just from Google or Facebook, for example. And that helps. And then we do have, okay, so Anthony says, yeah, he paid $40,000 on a deal that he got from Flex. So yeah, that'd be a little cheaper. What about Spanish speaking? G, do we offer on that?
We mark them as Spanish speaking. I don't believe our call center deals with those leads.
So then we notify if we're buying these leads from you and it's a Spanish speaker, you're going to tell me or the user, hey, this is a lead that speaks Spanish. You need to reach out and figure out what they want.
I talk to your sales team. I'm not 100% sure how those leads are handled. But it is a question we get asked a lot. So I'm sure we have an in the weeds answer how we process those leads.
And then
Suspect we just push those over to you.
The LSA fee and monthly marketing spend. So this is somebody that's currently buying the LSA product. Does this replace?
So this replaces the LSA fee. So it's just $350 for LSA and Google Live transfers. And your media budget is whatever your media budget is, like whatever you set it to. So we're not restricting you in any way in terms of how much you want to spend.
Yeah, and just because we're still on here and we're normally way over on this stuff, if you want the sales team to reach out to you to talk more about this product, if you want to just put the number 1 in the chat so that she can make a note of your interest. Sorry, I know you're really busy now, Jamie. Sorry.
I was gonna say, can we save this? I'm gonna have to screenshot. My goodness.
Can we save the chat actually, G? Like, does it work that way? Actually, Michelle, do you know if we can save the? Okay, she said yes.
Okay, perfect. Because I was like, oh, dang.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like one of the biggest no-brainers, in my opinion, that we've outside of AI squared. We've been doing a lot of no-brainers lately, honestly. Just whoever's running product is doing a great job. You need to let them know, G.
Yeah, I know, whoever that is. Not Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Really appreciate you attending this very short webinar.
Yeah.
But hopefully we do more of these more often. So appreciate it, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks.